Hello everyone and welcome to Always Learning. In today's video, we are going to look at how to create edge-lit acrylic signs using a laser cutter. We are going to create these two signs. We will use this LED base, which is plugged into the wall and gives 3 different types of shades of white. There are many different types online, some with RGB LEDs, and it can either be powered through USB or batteries. The software used to create this vector file for the laser cutter is Inkscape. There is other software available, but Inkscape is an open source project and it is easy to use. Go to inkscape.org, hit the download button and install it on your computer. Our next step is to find an image that you want to vector cut on your piece of acrylic. Now, since most images are not a vector and most common type will be PNG or JPEG, we will have to convert them into vector files, and there are 2 ways of doing this inside Inkscape. The first method is going to be either to use the freehand lines tool or to use a Bezier curve and straight lines, or just to use a combination of both. So what we'll do is go and import this image. So I'm going to import my picture of Pikachu here, and I'll just hit OK, and here I have my image. The first thing I want to do here is just to resize this smaller for myself to make it easier to trace. It does not matter how big the size is because we're going to anyway create a vector image of this. So what you want to go and do now is just go zoom in. Select your image and go to layers, and you can see here's the layers. Usually your opacity will be at 100, but I'm going to change it to roughly between 50 to 60, and I'm going to lock this layer. What I'm going to do now is just create a new layer above this current one, which will be my layer where I can trace my image. I can either use the freehand lines method by just going and tracing this image like this, and at the end I'll just hide my first layer, or I can use the Bezier curve tool to make more lines like this. By clicking and clicking again with your mouse button, you'll be able to create curves like this. If you have these extra nodes, you can also click edit paths by node, so you can delete different nodes or double click to add more nodes, for example here, to get a more exact path. It doesn't matter which method you use. All we want to do now is quickly get the outline of our drawing. I'm quickly gonna go trace the whole image, and then we'll make the outline for our acrylic sheet that we're gonna cut. And just one more thing, for these shapes here like the circles, we can just use the basic geometric shapes that is in Inkscape. So for example here, we can just create a circle, drag it over his eyes here, and just resize it so it will fit perfectly over the eyes. Now that our image is finished, we can go to this tool here, which is fill bounded areas, and I'm just going to fill this with a different color. I'm going to fill the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, on the top of his ear, so I missed one part here. So let's just quickly go draw this part in. Go back to layer 2. You need to hide the layer before filling in this color here. Otherwise it's not going to fill in all the way. And let's see, we can also add some color there, and maybe in the mouth. We're almost done. The only thing we now need to do is draw the outline. So what I'm going to do is just going to highlight all these lines. I'm going to say object, and I'm just going to group them. So now it's a vector image. We can resize this any way we want. It will not lose any image quality. For the outline, the width is 80 millimeters. I'm just gonna make a block here, width will be 80 and the height is 12 millimeters. And then we just need to create a separate circle. Something like this. So what you want to do now is hit this one here and also select this one. And we can go to Object, Align and Distribute and make sure they're in the middle. And then you can go to Path and you can make it a union path. Go to Object again, go Fill and Stroke. And you will have the Fill and Stroke option here. Let's just hide this. For fill, I'm not going to make anything fill. But for stroke paint, I'm just going to give it a red and make it 1 millimeter. So this will be our outline of our image. So what we can do now is go back to our Pikachu, drag it inside here, and now this file is ready. Go save your file to your computer by saving it as an SFG and then open your laser cutting software. In Lightburn, just go to File, Open and go to where your drawing is. So just go to All Supported Files and here is our SFG file. Here we can all still see the image, it is one layer. I'm just going to remove this from my output. So now you can go change the power settings and we can also look at a preview and we see the total time will be 1 minute and 44 seconds. So you'll have to adjust your speed and power according to the laser cutter you have. After cutting and engraving the piece of acrylic, all I had to do was just clean it and then I can put it inside the LED base holder. The second method we are going to do is to take this image here of Iron Man and also find the outlines. Now this one's going to be a bit easier. All we have to do is click on the image, go to Path and select Trace Bitmap. Now here you have different options to trace the image. So here you can change the brightness threshold. You're going to have to play around with these different types of settings. Here we can change the number of pixels, so increase the small spots of the bitmap, or to make the corners move, or a optimization using Bezier curve as segments. But I'm quite happy with this one here, so I'm just gonna click OK. Now you'll have two images. One here you will see is your traced image. That is our traced image with all the nodes, and this is our normal image. So let's go and delete this one. I'll highlight this one and we'll move it here. Now for fill, I will just go make it a color. And for my stroke paint, I will just say no stroke paint. So now this can be a raster engraved image. So all I have to do now is just move this one over here. Take my image and let's just change it to a different color so we know which one will be engraved and which one will be cut. So I'm going to take this color here, change the red all the way to 0 and change the blue to 255. We will go and save this file, open up Lightburn, and this time we will only use line and fill to create this sign here. Here in Lightburn we have a fill layer and we have a line layer. So again, you're going to have to go change your settings according to your laser cutter's power. We see this one will take a bit longer. Estimated time is 7 minutes and 53 seconds. This is because it will go from left to right, as it will engrave the whole image and it is not a line mode. I hope that the methods I showed you here is helpful and that it can help you to create your own edge-lit acrylic signs. For more related tech videos, please consider subscribing. Thank you.